not having an athletic background and not having that coordination, I think just the coordination of moving your head, moving your feet, thinking about combos and watching a moving target, there was so much to take in when I didn't have any hand-eye coordination.
Stop yelling numbers at me.
I'm like, what does that mean? So it's kind of fun, too, to enjoy the kickboxing so much now and, to have my pro debut be for glory and, have that kind of journey where it's like I will be the first one where I'm not even being hard on myself. Just realistically, I was horrible at striking. I would have never told you, even 3 years ago, 2 years ago, that I would be able to compete on a platform like glory, So it was cool. It was really cool, really neat for the journey. And, aside from telling other people and, doing that motivational look at me thing, and just from my, personal diary, wow, that was a cool journey.
For sure. Now, I know you said that you had a boxing match coming up, and I only have a few more questions for you, Maureen, but I really appreciate it. Is there a time frame for your next upcoming kickboxing match? And what do you think, especially with what we were discussing earlier in regards to like the image of the female fighter, what do you think of female fighters in kickboxing such as Tiffany Van Soest and Kaylee Reese, who also in a sense have now started to embrace in a sense their feminine qualities and really helping use that on the platforms of the Lion Fight promotion that they're a part of?
I love it. So there were two questions. I'm not sure when my next fight is.
Okay.
So I have the boxing, August 15th. And then after that, it's clear as of right now.
Okay.
But again, I'm very goal-driven, so, I'm hoping to have something else come up again. October would be really nice.
Okay.
I feel like that would give me, again, depending on which discipline it was. If it's MMA, I would like to have a nice solid camp again. And just be able to have a week or two that's not considered camp, so I can just kind of let go and have fun with it. And then I'm going out to Invicta in September.
See you there.
Corner. Good. Say hi. But Charmaine's sweet.
Charmaine, okay.
Yeah, I was up training with her in Canada.
Fighting Veronica. Should be a good one.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait. But we developed a really good friendship while I was up there, so I'm actually going out there, and I'm going to be in her corner.
Okay. They've been doing a little barking at each other a couple times from what I hear.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely been fun, and it's going to be great. All of Char's are submissions, all of Veronica's are knockouts. And, obviously it's always really exciting when you know one of the fighters, so I think it was going to be a great matchup prior to knowing Charmaine as a person and, becoming such good friends with her. But now that we're friends, I'm like, oh gosh, I just can't wait to see how this all turns out. I'm really pulling for her, but, even being up there prior to the friendship developing, I was really inspired by the well-rounded fighter that Charmaine is. And she has a focus and a ferocity about her that I don't see with a lot of the women. So, and she's a veteran. I think Veronica is going to get in over her head with her. But so anyhow, I'm going out there, and that'll be nice to kind of go out there and make it about Charmaine and take a week to just really support her and be with her, and then come back and.
Ever been to KC before?
What's that?
Have you ever been to KC before?
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I go to almost all the Invicta fights.
Oh, okay.
I fought out at Blue Corner a couple times, took all my fighters out there. I have a really good relationship with Ben and Lisa, and I love coming out there and supporting their show. I love the fan base in Kansas City.
Great fan base.
Yeah. It was really a real surprise. But I have almost a bigger fan base in Kansas City, to be honest, than I do here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, when I fought out there, part of it, I think, I lucked out. I went out there for a boxing fight against Molly Magnus, and then Molly Welsh was the co-main event for a title fight, and her opponent didn't show up at fight day. And so Ben was running around like, oh my God, it's my main event or my co-main event. It's a title fight. And I happened to weigh in 1 pound heavier than, what that one was, because I'd come in underweight with the traveling. And I was like, I'll take it, you know. So I went out there and I boxed Molly Magnus, and then I went back, it switched gloves, and 2 fights later I came back out, and then I won the 135 title in a minute 24 with a standing TKO.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, you know, I think it left an impression.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really fun. But, I mean, yeah, since then, I mean, they all stay in touch. All the female fighters out there, real supportive, all the promoters, just in general fans. I love going to Kansas City. They're so awesome out there. And I never would have thought that. You know, like, you know, when you're like, where do you want to go? I'm like, I want to go to Kansas City.
Right. Nobody wants to vacation there.
Yeah. Yeah. As a female fighter, it's very rewarding.
Awesome.
To get out and hang out with everybody out there. So.
And
yeah,
then
so
with like the girls like Tiffany Van Soos and like for the Lion Fight promotions, like you ever, or, you know, do you ever in a sense kind of look up to what those girls are doing as well?
Yeah, the way I was initially going to answer, I don't ever want to come across stuck up or say the wrong thing.
Those, please.
I don't really look up to a lot of the female fighters.
Okay.
But I admire. I look at us all. I mean, even Ronda Rousey, you know, everybody that's like at the top of the top. I look at us as, you know, we're all peers. We're all sisters. We're all, even we're opponents. You know, we're a family.
Right.
We've been given, you know, finally this great opportunity where we're finally being taken seriously. And I think that, you know, we're definitely on the probationary period.
Right.
So I'm just, you know, we need to prove that the right decision was made, and we owe it to the women that just took beatings and lived in their cars to be able to do this prior to us.
Like the Shayna Baszlers and Tara LaRosas of the world.
You know, those girls, you know, Julie Kelsey, you know, it's like
Julie,
it finally happened right on their way out. Kathy Long is a huge inspiration of mine as far as like kickboxing and everything goes. You know, and I mean, obviously they all have their careers and stuff, but it's just, you know, they were out before they got to really enjoy the reward of what was their hard work.
Yeah.
So yeah, I look at all of us like we need to work together, and so I get really excited when I see what they're doing because they're great fighters, and they're kind of demolishing that stereotype. You know, you have this big stereotype out there, and one of the reasons that women weren't taken seriously is that either if you're pretty, then you're just a sex object, and it's kind of a sideshow, and you're not capable, or if you are a good fighter, then, you know, you must be taking steroids and, you know, really masculine, and that's not true either, and I don't know why those stereotypes are even there, because I think there's actually more pretty female fighters than there are, like, the stereotype
Totally.
female fighters, you know?
I mean, I even hate when people say Cyborg is unattractive, because if you watch her, like, Instagram or her Facebook, and she goes and does her little modeling shots, like, she throws down with her little Brazilian self whenever she does her little shoot, so, yeah.
Well, and you know what, to be honest, you know, like last night at that, you know, in the fashion industry, I consider myself to be, you know, definitely one of the more relatable female fighters as far as, like, general public goes. I don't look the part.
Yep.
I'm not, like, super stacked, things like that, you know. But then when I stand in that environment last night, I'm extremely muscular to them and to what they identify women as. And to some of them, I was too muscular, and I was quote unquote gross to them, you know. So, you know, it's like to each their own, and
women on women crime.
You don't need to, you know, bash somebody for it.
Yeah.
And I love, you know, Cyborg just as much, you know, whether you think, you know, Tiffany Denso is the beautiful one, or you think Cyborg is the beautiful one.
Right.
There are a lot of people that think Cyborg is absolutely beautiful. You know, the thing is that I love about both of them is that they're both showing that you can be an amazing fighter, very, very talented, very hardworking. You have no problem throwing your hair up in a knot, wiping off the makeup, and sweating like a pig. You know. But at the same time, you can put on makeup and you can be feminine and you enjoy being a girl, and you know we can be ladies and still be much more than a lot of men would want to fight, you know? So, you know, you look at Michelle Waterson, and I mean, a lot of the women, I love the Invicta girls. I mean, I think all of them, Invicta, has done such a good job of showing that women are these, beautiful feminine creatures, and people just forgot or never knew maybe all these years that beautiful feminine creatures are also fierce. You know?
I mean, look at Rose. We can't even really call her Thug Rose anymore with some of these photos and promotions she's been doing with UFC. She looks like a glamour model or some like Hollywood star from back in the day now.
Absolutely. I mean, so many of them. And, a lot of them, even with my image, people see my fight posters and then I'm out at the promo events. And they'll really, squint their eyes and look at the poster and then look at me. And
they're like, that's really you?
That's not you.
Right.
They can't recognize. And I think that's really cool, because, again, like with the number of kids that are watching and stuff like that, I think, all these young girls that are so uncomfortable with who they are and their body types, and because of all these stereotypes, I think there's nothing sadder than somebody who just has this potential to be this beautiful person because of their energy, and you just see them so self-conscious that they can't even let that beauty show.
Right.
So I think it's important to show to those kids that, and to a lot of adults that just haven't been brave enough to know it yet, that you don't have to play to a stereotype, whatever that stereotype is. You break them, beat them down, and show people that that's not the case. So I love it. I absolutely love it. I love the women that use it and show it, and the women that don't like it. That's fine too, because it gives its own elements, and that's fine.
So I'm glad you were mentioning the kids, because that leads me to my last question. Being a mother of four, what do your kids think of mommy fighting? Like, how do they look at mom the fighter? I mean, it's funny that we were able to talk earlier about how or some of them are embarrassed because they're essentially mommies getting hit on while we're together. But in regards to the fighting, though, what do they think about you fighting and competing and all this stuff?
It's really cool. They're really, really, really supportive, and at the same time, they're not. They don't gloat about it either.
Okay.
Like my oldest son is like, he keeps taking all of my Babyface T-shirts because he wants to wear them every day.
Nice.
And he's like, well, I can't wear a dirty shirt, Mom. So like. He wants any merchandise I have. He wants it. He's the first one to get it. My youngest son wants all of my posters up on his wall in his room.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm like, sure, buddy, because mommy's mean mugging the whole time.
Right.
Do you want that staring at you?
Right.
So they're both really, really excited, but then at the same time, they don't go to they don't tell people at school.
Oh, really?
Saying to wear the shirt, but he doesn't go show off. If people ask, they're not embarrassed, but they don't use it to show off. So it's just really cool because I know it's a very, very genuine support.
They're just representing mommy.
What I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they'll mention, they'll talk about that it's hard and that they're proud of me, and it's really cool because 12 and 7 is actually pretty young.
And did they ever give you any tips on your matches? Like, what, in that last fight, if you would have just did this, or?
Yeah, my oldest one actually. Glory was the first fight I let him attend.
Okay.
So Arde was the second one. So he, I was actually asking him because especially my oldest, my 12-year-old, I really try and groom his mind in a successful way, and let him see me experience the ups and downs of life. And so I was talking to him. I'm like, buddy, you were watching, and I haven't actually gotten to see the fight yet. And it's really difficult for me to grow and kind of reflect on a fight when I haven't been able to see the tape.
Right.
So anyhow, him and I were talking. I'm like, buddy, you saw it. And,
right.
Don't worry about hurting my feelings. But what did you think? Like, did you think that, what was I doing wrong?
Right.
Did you think I did anything right? So it was cool, yeah, because he was, he's giving his input. And then my two stepsons also, they weren't home that week. They were with their mom, but the oldest came home and cooked me dinner on Monday, and they were, the first thing out of their mouths when they walked in the door was how my fight went and how was I, and it was really cool. But they all train together. We all train together. We own the gym.
Yes, yes.
Business, and we're always telling the boys that that's their inheritance, and we teach them how to run it, and so they, it's so much part of their life too that they're really involved. They're really supportive. and it's cool. It makes such a tight-knit family unit for us.
For sure. That is
So,
awesome.
yeah.
That is very, very awesome. So, Maureen, thank you so much for your time. I could talk to you for hours. I mean, this was great. Like, this was seriously, seriously awesome. Great stuff. The only thing that I would ask you is there anyone out there that you would like to thank, any sponsors that you have, or anyone else?
Yeah, absolutely. Always first, Michael Sullivan at Fusebox. He's my coach and my significant other. The only one that, didn't turn his back on me. I guarantee I wouldn't be here without him. So, and all my teammates at Fusebox, especially.